This is my 5-string Sadowsky jazz bass, and this is me putting it into the hold on a flight to Australia. Now, why am I doing this? At the end of 2022, I bought this capsule bass case, which claims to offer all the benefits of a soft case and a flight case all rolled into one. We've all seen those terrible articles online talking about how musical instruments get destroyed on flights. So I thought, what better way to put this case to the ultimate test than by taking it on a world tour through the UK, Germany, all the way over to New Zealand, through Australia, and then back to London, to see if this case can bring my bass home in one piece. The story starts in November 2022 down at Swansea Arena in Wales in the UK with a look at the features on the Gruv Gear capsule bass case. So let's take a closer look at the case. So on the outside you've got this hardened layer here, this sort of outer shell. It goes all the way around, it's going to protect the bases. You've also got a handle on the side for carrying it. Then underneath you've got these two straps so you can wear the whole thing like a backpack if you want. When it comes to transporting this bass around, we can either use the shoulder straps or these wheels that fit onto the bass. They simply slide on and click into place. Then if we flip it around this way, you've got this handle here, which you can use to pull it along in the airport when you attach the wheels. You've got this zipper pocket here, which goes all the way around. And you can open up the top of it where you've got these pockets here. So these are pretty deep. Here, you could probably get a small amount of pedals in that, like maybe a small pedal board. Now, a potential downside of this is that this layer on the top is actually quite soft. So this hasn't got any strong material like this layer has. But the good news is your bases, which will be in here, are well protected, because not only have you got a combination lock that you can set and reset here to release these zippers, the underside of this bit does have a reinforced layer between this bit of padding and this bit of padding. So inside the main case, you've got a pocket for extra storage here. This is obviously where your bass is gonna go. You've got these cool little ramps here, which are gonna suspend the headstock of your bass around about here. And all of the padding around the side here is very thick. You can see that, really thick, really sturdy. And of course, because this is the 2EB model, what you can do is lift this up and store another bass underneath. The tour got off to a great start in Swansea, and once our 10 days there were up, it was time to pack everything down into the case, load it all onto the truck, wave goodbye to Swansea, then get on the road back to the airport where we could get our flight over to Germany, then settle down to spend Christmas in our new home. Okay, so we've made it to Düsseldorf. The journey here has given me a chance to think about some of the things that I like and dislike a little bit about the case. The first isn't really a big issue, but when you put the case on your back and you have these straps coming across here, because it's got two bases in and some other gear, it's a little bit heavier and it has a tendency to sort of fall off your shoulders a little bit like this. What I think would be a great addition to this case would be to have a buckle similar to the one I've got on my mono bag. You get a clip here like this and you get another one here that goes across like that and holds the bag in place securely across here. The second thing is actually to do with the wheels that connect onto the case. A lot of the time when you're going through airports and in and out of trains and buses and that sort of thing, you need to switch quickly from being able to wheel the capsule across the floor to putting it onto your back, to back onto the wheels and then back onto your back. And when you do this, I keep noticing that the wheels actually dig into the back of your legs or into the small of your back a little bit. In real world situations, you have to switch between the two pretty quickly all the time. So it's a bit unrealistic and a bit time inefficient, if you like, to keep taking the wheels on and off. Like, no one's going to do that. So we're going to see out the rest of the 3 weeks here in Germany. Then we're going to head down to Plymouth really quickly to rehearse up before we head back to London, over to Heathrow and fly to Australia. But before we do that, I still need to tell you about two really important features on the capsule, because these two features will be the difference between my bass arriving back in London in one piece or several. The first are these humidity packs made by Boveda. And what these Boveda packs do is they basically control the humidity levels within the case itself. When you put an instrument in the hold of an aeroplane, it's vulnerable to damage by changes in pressure, by changes in temperature, and the last thing you want when you pick up your bass at the other end of a flight is for any of the wood to have warped or be damaged because of these factors. With the Boveda packs on board, it was time to check the bass in for the first flight to Abu Dhabi. But when we got there, things hadn't exactly gone to plan. Okay, so whilst we're laid over here for about another hour, I just want to talk about one of the features of the case that I'm kind of looking forward to using a little bit. There's a geo tracking tag in it. So basically the idea is if the case gets lost anyway, like for example when you're connecting between flights, as I am at the moment, you can log in to homing pin, which are the people that provide the tag, and activate it and figure out where your case is. Now, in the interest of being a completely transparent review, I have just tried to do that, and a little worryingly, the login credentials say that they can't be found. I have gone through the verification process, but I'll keep you posted on that. It might just be an email thing, so it's not exactly like the tag doesn't work, it might just be a login problem. Sorry that my speech is also very slow. We've been awake for about 22 hours at this point, so God knows what I'm saying. I won't lie, I did find this really worrying, but with our connecting flight ready to leave, I had no choice but to get on the plane, head over to Melbourne, where we would get another connecting flight to New Zealand, and hope my base would arrive safely in Auckland for the first gig. Luckily, the base made it, but this wasn't the end of its journey. After our first gig in Auckland, we then played more gigs in Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, and then Melbourne, and after all that, it was time to put the base back in the hold again to complete the journey back to Heathrow, where I'd collect the base one last time, head into central London, and see if it had made it there in one piece.
There it is. There it is.
So how did it do? You can see it's picked up a couple of dents on the outside, like this scratch here. That's to be expected, and it's not really a big problem. However, I did notice some damage to the wheels. One of them was fine, but the other lost its pin, so it's now unable to attach onto the case. This was especially disappointing because I'd taken the wheels off the case for the flight and put them securely in one of the pockets. So quite how they suffered this damage, I don't really know. Now, it was time to open up the case and see what state my base was in. As you can see, it's arrived pretty much unscathed, but to be totally sure, I decided to take my bass into the orchestra pit, plug it in, and then see for myself. The bass still played fine, the tuning pegs hadn't been damaged during the flight, the neck was fine, but what I did notice was that two of the volume pots had become a little bit loose. Whether that means that they got damaged during the flight, I don't know, but it was a bit strange that those two volume pots had taken some damage, but there wasn't really any sign of anything really weighty or heavy being slammed on top of the case. So that one's a little bit of a mystery. With all that being said, I have to say I'm pretty impressed with this case. Since we got back from this tour, I have flown with it quite a few other times, and I still do use it. You can see I've still got it over here. Look, there it is in the corner. I have had to order some new wheels for it to replace the other ones, which was a bit of a disappointment that they broke. But the other side of that is if you are going to put something in the hold of a plane, you do have to expect it to take a few knocks and a few dings. If you've enjoyed this video, of course, like, comment and subscribe. And if you want to see more from my time touring in Australia and New Zealand, then check out this video up here.